Right, Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Shemi Shai, Bahashim Rabakakodash, double honors to elder apostles, a great millstone that taught me this truth, and blessings all you sincere laborers out there pushing this truth in all sincerity, faith, and honesty. I, that fellow servant, Kanaka, I come to you once again with another lesson. And this is a post that the elder Malcolm posted from Chicago. It's a video, and I had a video the other day I was going to do a lesson off of, but I didn't. But through the spirit, I kind of got like another video to back up pretty much that video I had initially. So I'm going to let this play, and then Lord's willing, this video is edifying.
New evidence reveals a cracking global supply chain is fast emerging at major Chinese ports. The virus outbreak will remain a dominant issue as supply chain shocks are being felt by multinationals on both sides of the hemisphere. Containers of frozen pork, chicken, and beef, mostly from South America, Europe, and the U.S., are piling up at Tianjin, Shanghai, and Ningbo ports because of the lack of truck drivers and many transportation networks remain closed. Seaports in China are quickly running out of room to house the containers, and they can't provide enough electricity ports to keep the containers cold. This has forced many vessels to be rerouted to other destinations. Footage was recorded of an oil tanker parking lot off the coast of Singapore last week as refiners in China cut runs as crude consumption has collapsed by more than 4 million barrels per day. A logistical nightmare is unfolding as 2/3 of the Chinese economy has effectively shut down much of its production capacity, producing a massive demand shock. The impact on the global economy is already dragging down world trade and could force the World Trade Organization to slash economic growth forecasts for the year. The Chinese economy constitutes about 20% of global GDP, and supply chain disruptions across China could cause a cascading effect that could tilt the world into recession. But it's not just the frozen meats piling up at the Chinese ports or a crude glut developing. There's a high risk that product shortages to Western countries could be 60 to 90 days out. Alibaba Group CEO Daniel Zhang warned last week that the supply chain disruption or shock is a black swan event for the global economy. The Black Swan warning was also repeated by Freeport McMoRan CEO Richard Adkerson several weeks ago, after Adkerson said that the outbreak in China is a real Black Swan event. China's economy is at a standstill and could trigger the next economic crisis, not seen since 2008. Like, share, and subscribe.
All right, and that's that video. So, and simply put, the demand, okay, if any nation, whether South America, North America, whether it be Africa or whatever, any nation that was sending products to China, buy, selling, or trading, any nation that is exporting goods to China, well, 2/3 of China's production, consumption, far as stores, restaurants, all right, are shut down due to this virus. Okay, so pretty much they're just piling up at the docks in China. All right, they're just sitting there. So the demand, because China is like the main artery, so to say, metaphorically speaking, the main artery is a main artery to this global economy. Okay, so if you cut off a main artery, then pretty much in the body, the body is going to die eventually. Okay, so China is not the demand. Okay, the demand for all these products that these nations was making or was putting, it's like that China was demanding from all these countries, All right, they no longer demand that amount anymore. So now the countries, they're suffering. All right, they're going to suffer economically. All right, and also too, since China's production is shut off, 2/3 of its economy has come to a standstill. So also the products that China was sending out will not get to the world. All right, so it stops products. This stops products from going in, and it stops products from going out. So once again, the main artery is being cut off to the economy. And what she said is February 18th. She said 60 to 90 days. Okay, to that there's gonna be a global supply shortage because China isn't they aren't putting out as much supply as they once was. That's like 3 to 4 months from now. Okay. So like I said, this is the video, so I can play another video that I had the other day. This is going to back up this video right here to pretty much show you really an example if you still don't understand. Look at this right here.
CBS 4's Jim DeFede has been covering the business of lobster for more than a decade and recently traveled to the Keys to understand the economic impact the coronavirus is having on the industry.
His boat loaded with empty lobster traps, Gary Nichols pulls up to his fish house on Conch Key.
Another happy day to get to the dock.
Lobster season is ending early this year for Nichols and many of the other lobstermen of the Florida Keys for reasons out of their control.
Traditionally, we fish till the middle end of March, and we get a spring run of lobster, but the Chinese have stopped their buying due to the coronavirus.
With the virus spreading across China, commercial flights from the United States were recently halted. But even before the airlines stopped flying, the major buyers in China were canceling orders for Florida's spiny lobster, as fears of the virus was hitting the country's economy and keeping people out of restaurants. Florida lobster is considered a delicacy in China and is often the star of any dinner, especially during Chinese New Year's, which has been underway for the past week. For Florida's lobstermen, this is when prices normally soar.
We had just gotten our prices up to a decent level. You know, this is our normally between a $12 and $20 lobster this time of year, and we dropped the price down to the $6 range on a lobster. To the fishermen, and it's pretty devastating, you know.
The drop caught Nichols by surprise.
Usually I get a text message every day or so.
You heard him. He said that the drop caught Nichols by surprise. So that's a black swan event right there. Okay, by surprise. How often do you see a black swan? So this is something unexpected. Okay, I'm gonna just get a basic definition of black swan event. All right, a black swan event is an unpredictable event that is beyond what is normally expected of a situation and has potentially severe consequences. All right, just scratching the surface of what a black swan. So he said this was unexpected. All right, so let's go back to this video.
Prices going up $1, maybe $2 a pound. I get a text message on Friday, and it says the volume, the bottom's dropped out. We have coronavirus, and the buyers in China aren't buying.
The price went down $4 within 4 days.
Steve Kramer was pulling his traps out of the water as well.
We should have had probably another week and a half of really good pricing, and then the price would have leveled out.
Shipping live lobsters to China saved the Florida lobster industry 10 years ago. Nichols was one of the first to do it.
Literally, our quality of life has been a lot better than what it was. We've been able to pay our bills, make a little money.
But now with the prices down, Nichols says it isn't worth keeping his 3,000 traps in the water. The small amounts of lobster he now catches, he's selling to his Chinese buyer, who will take them to a processing plant to be canned and eventually sold to China when the flights resume.
So hopefully today I might have made enough to pay expenses possibly.
The coronavirus outbreak in China is the latest problem for the lobstermen, still recovering from having their traps destroyed during Hurricane Irma, as well as the high tariffs imposed on their lobster by the Chinese government in the trade war with the U.S.
tariffs have been not good for any of us.
And this has been a really tough last couple of years.
Kramer and Nichols know they are not alone. Because of the coronavirus, China has stopped importing gooey duck and Dungeness crab from the Pacific Northwest, as well as the more traditional lobster from the Northeast and Canada.
I know one fishery, almost 1 million pounds of lobsters that they have boxed up, ready to go to China.
Many of the lobstermen we spoke to said they could survive this shortened season without the Chinese market. But if this goes into next year, it could be serious problems for their business. Reporting from the Florida Keys, I'm Jim DeFeedy, CBS.
All right, so the Chinese market is very vital, all right, to the world. Because look at the population of China, man, billion. Okay, so that the Chinese market is very vital to the world. Once again, likened unto a main artery to the body. Okay, so as you saw there, this, as I was trying to explain in the last video, here's a company here that ships lobster to China, all right, and they're losing out on money, all right, because why? China, they canceled the orders because no one's going to restaurants, all right, no one's is roaming the streets like that, all right. So this is the catalyst, man, all right. This is what's going to happen. Now, if this lobster business is doing what it's doing, imagine all the other companies or all the other resources that people sell to China. Okay, and when once again, the resources that the things that people import to China can't get in, and China is not exporting anything out, none of its products. And another thing too I wanted to mention is about this lobster stuff. That just give the ocean time to cleanse itself, man. Okay, because you're not supposed to be eating lobster anyways. All right, millions of pounds of lobster you taking out of the ocean. The lobster is what keep the ocean clean, man. And that's breaking the laws of the Heavenly Father. So that's good that this is happening to this lobster industry. Okay, so I want to get this is 2 Ezra 15 verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand." Because ultimately, what is going to bring about is a global recession. Okay, so woe to the world and them that dwell therein, and this is beautiful because this thing is really popping off, man. All right, the Lord is bringing upon the end. The end is coming, man, and majority of the people are in that peace and safety spirit right now. Okay, they're not even aware of these things. Everything's still going about as normal. Okay, let's see if I can get this real quick. Bear with me. Right here. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." And that's going again into that Black Swan event, right? An unpredictable event. Okay, that's just going to come up suddenly as a woman with child. When her water bursts, she can be washing dishes, she can be doing anything, but when her water bursts, okay, is unexpected. All right, there's no signs of saying, hey, you're gonna have your baby today. Once that baby it comes, and that's what's getting ready to happen, man. Okay, that water is about to burst, and then the economy is going to collapse, and the collapse of the economy is going to bring in a lot of things. Okay, it's going to bring in a mark of the beast, which is RFID chip, and it's going to bring in a third world war. All right, because that's how the world is going to get through this global recession, man. All right, through war. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to get Habakkuk, Salakia, Habakkuk 2, it says, "For the vision is yet for appointed time, but the end shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." And that's what's happening right now, okay? The vision is speaking, is not tarrying anymore, all right? We truly believe that, hey, man, this is time. All right, it's time, man. The Lord is not slack. We can clearly see that this thing is gaining momentum, okay? And it's not going to stop, man. It's only going to be downhill from there. And two, I remember Elder Apostle Tahar, he made a lesson. He said China, I believe he said China will be the first one, which what he said was right. China will be the first one to get the RFID chip or something to that point. I forgot, how he said it, but China will be the first one, because you got to think about it. Even though these nations are against or divided, the elites of all these nations, all right, understand what needs to happen. The new world order, all right, which is to chip everybody, and it's like the first. China wants to be the next superpower. Okay, so China is, before all this was happening, like a year or two ago. There was lots of news how in China they have they in certain cities, it was just all electronic payments. They were getting rid of cash altogether. Okay, so China is trying to be that first one, that first pretty much electric currency. All right, and it ultimately is going to be this RFID chip. So hey, this virus thing that's popping off, you know, it, it's man, this new world order, so called, is being prepared right before your eyes. Okay, this old system is being torn down, but as we know, according to prophecy, it's not going to be fully implemented. But it's coming in fast, man. These elites, or to say the devil is coming down on you, having great wrath, because he knows he have but a short time. So let me get the scripture real quick. It's Revelation 13-16, because this is really what has to happen before the end comes. This chip has to be made mandatory. And with this global recession getting ready to take place, which is going to be lethal, man. All right, this is happening. Oh, trust me, this is going to be bad, man. All right, it's going to be a global meltdown, to the point where all nations are going to feel this, and then they're going to accept the RFID chip. It's Revelation 13-16, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for his number of a man, and his number is 636. For those that you don't know, those of you that do not know, that's not aware, when you go into that word mark, charagma, all right, which means to cut or make an incision. And that's what happens when that chip is inserted into you. And that no man might buy or sell, letting you know that it's a part of a financial system, so to say. Okay? And that's what's getting ready to take place. Out with the old, in with the new, this new financial system. Because the US dollar, petrodollar, that's going to be done away with, man. Okay? It's going to be a global currency, all. And he calls it all, so that's everybody. So, we're living in beautiful times here, man. And we're really going to be able to measure the time and see, where things going to be at in about the next couple months, next couple weeks. We're really going to be able to tell, all right, how close we are. All right. So with that, Lord, Lord's willing, you edify, I'm going to say shalom.